You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online, and my name is Andrew Mackay-Smith. I hope you are doing well out there in the crazy world that we're living in throughout 2020. I've got something that should alleviate some of the bullshit that's going on around us at the moment, because it's a conversation with Phil Campbell. Phil, of course, is the longtime guitarist in MOTÖRHEAD, their longest-serving guitarist, as a matter of fact. He's got a band these days with his sons, literally his sons, called Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. And there's a new album that is due via Nuclear Blast on the 13th of November, 2020, of course. So let's get stuck into the chat with the man himself, Phil Campbell. Here he is. Phil, it's Andy Mackay-Smith calling. How are you?
Hi, Andy. How are you, mate? I'm good.
Mate, I'm plugging away. I wouldn't expect you to remember, but we've had a conversation on a few other occasions, and we had an argy-bargy over Welsh rugby, but we definitely agreed on Galley and Kruger amplification, so I don't know whether that job's
Oh, yeah. Long time ago. Yeah.
That's it. So how have you been in between? I know you've been locked down like what we've been, mate, but you've been keeping sane?
Yeah, just pick up a guitar if I get frustrated and thrash away or something like, just busy doing interviews now and looking forward to the album release.
Well, I've got a copy of it, mate, and it's, look, you someone with your pedigree, mate, you can't release bad music, so I'll say that off. That'll be my first statement. The album itself continues that long legacy that you established 35 years ago or so with Lemmy. It's been that long, mate, if you can believe it. About half of your life, or over half of your life, or thereabouts. So we're the Bastards. It features your sons and also vocalist Neil Starr. So it sort of picks up, I think, where the Age of Absurdity left off. So my first question for you, mate, about it all is, I understand it was written through COVID. So can you tell me about the songwriting process?
Basically, before the COVID and all that, in January we got together because we taped some sound checks last year. A few odd drifts here and there. So we got together, had to listen to some riffs, and we made a couple of songs. We knocked them into shape, and then we carried on rehearsing a few times a week. And Todd showed up. In total, I don't know, he had about 6 or 7 songs, and I don't know, I'd had 4 or 5 songs, and some of the boys had brought in songs. So anyway, but rough, say the end of February, we were all rehearsed, and all the songs were sorted, because we planned last year. We hoped to do a new album to come out at the end of 2020. Mm-hmm. So then all the lockdown stuff started in March. We were all geared up to go, but luckily we've got our own recording studio a couple of miles away. Todd's in charge of it. He basically runs it all and everything. And so we were going down there, a couple of members at a time. Todd would be there, and then the drums would go down first for a few days, and we could all be socially distanced. And then somebody else would go in. So we did it that way. I'm not sure what it took. About a month to record, and a few weeks then to mix. I mean, Soren Anderson mixed it. Glenn Hughes, his bass player, he mixed my solo record as well last year. But Todd produced this. Yeah, Todd produced this thing, and he got all the big sounds, the best tones for us. So that's the way we did it. So at the very least, we've come out of this year with 13 brand new songs and a cracking album.
Agreed. Look, I love the album cover too, because it depicts all of you sitting around partaking in the timeless pastime of
Ye Old Bastards Tavern.
Yes. Yeah. Is that what your living room's called, is it?
No. God, might as well be. No, yeah. Yeah, it's a good cover. The same guy that did the first album. It's all done with points, and Matt Drist everything is a point, a dot. It's called pointillism,
really?
I think. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It must take him ages. Yeah.
Well,
that's his style of painting.
Well, that suits your music beautifully because it's deceptively intricate, I've got to say. So when it came to the songwriting process, working with your sons as you are, and of course with Neil too, but were there any disagreements and how did you sort them out?
No, we just try every idea that someone comes up with. You know, if somebody says, "Oh, it sounds better this way," we'll try it that way, and we'll try it nothing gets shot down. You know, we try it every way, and then usually, you know, it's obvious which is the best way. Like, you know, but yeah, there were a few disagreements here and there, but nothing major. You know, it's all for the good of the song.
Yep. And the lyrical content, it sounds fairly upbeat. Is that the case?
Well, that's Neil's in charge of that. Some of it sounds pretty dark to me. You'd have to really have a good conversation with Neil about that. He's not. He doesn't come from a like a hard rock background. I mean, he couldn't tell you the name of a Deep Purple album or Black Sabbath album or Zeppelin. He comes from a different school, like, so it's kind of non-standard, I guess. Some of his lyrics would be pretty far out from some rock song.
Yeah, the hard rock stuff.
Kind of normalities.
That might be what I
stuff
picked
like,
up on.
Yeah.
And,
so I guess it's good in a way because it gives the band an extra, an extra dimension, like.
Absolutely, it bodes well for the future, for sure. And and the important question, I guess I opened with it, mate. But please tell me you bought out the GK rig for at least a couple of numbers. No,
it's still in the studio. Yeah.
Ah, bummer.
No, I fell back in love with Marshalls again for this album. But the GK stuff, it's all working. It's all there. I might do it one day soon. Now you mentioned it.
I'd love to hear it. Yeah, I'd love to hear it because you're doing this. Someone like yourself with such a great collection. I enjoyed what you did with Satriani, or the Satriani song "Littleworth Lane." Look, are you planning on doing more of that sort of stuff and showcasing a lot of the wonderful gear you've got?
Well, I don't know. Joe just called me up about that. That was a really surprise. He could have called many people up. I don't know. I think he just called up 6 or 8 people, so I was very honoured with that. And I used a Flying V on that. It's a 1977 Flying V.
Yeah.
So I bought it in about 79, and then I sold it in 84 to pay for the one that I used on the young ones that I had made.
Oh, yes.
Which I sold in Australia. But I bought this Natural V back off the guy that I sold it to in the late 70s. I bought it back off him about 3 years ago. Well, I swapped him a gold top for it, so he was happy. I was happy.
I bet a gold top.
But it's not. But I used that for a lot of the solos on the new record. I think you can tell there's 3 or 4 like it really sounds. It's got the Flying V clunk to the solos,
For sure, yeah.
And the other guitar I used mainly on a record was, I think it's a guitar Lemmy gave me. It's a Les Paul Special Junior Deluxe. It's one of them lightweight ones with no scratch plates,
yes.
like a Gary Moore type one. So I used that as well. They were the 2 main guitars for this album. So pretty basic, really, but you get a good tone, you're on fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Gary Moore there. Yeah, I spoke to Scott Gorham not too long. Oh god, it was a while ago now, I suppose. But during that lead up to that conversation, I was inspired to check out their performance on the steps of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and I'm still floored every time I watch Gary Moore's performance on that particular day.
I remember. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen it a few times. yeah, it's never get fed up of seeing that, would you?
Absolutely, agreed. I put it on all the time. I find myself just keep on coming back because there are so many young rock and metal fans who don't understand Thin Lizzy and how important the band is, especially with Scott and with Gary in the band.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Gary Moore's an incredible player, like phenomenal. End of the story. Like he can play the blues. He played a lot. Yeah.
Did you have much to do with Gary and the Thin Lizzy guys over the years?
No, not a great deal. No, unfortunately. Lynette came to see us a few times and hung out with him for a little while. Robertson, yeah, obviously I met Robertson a bunch of times. Not a great deal though with the band. No, It would have been good to do some touring with them, but it didn't happen.
It would have been perfect. You guys and
yeah.
It would have been a match made in heaven, mate. Really?
Oh yeah.
Gosh, imagine that going ahead.
It would have been chaos backstage, but there you go.
It would have been, but we're going to lose to something else. Look, ever since Lemmy's death, you've released an EP or an album every year. So, and we spoke about this last time for an interview, the last time we conducted an interview, which is that not a lot of people, I think, recognise your contribution to Motorhead, which is that you did write a shitload of the songs in the band, but you clearly must have had a lot left over too, because this boundless creativity that's coming from you. I know you're collaborating with your sons and also, of course, with Neil, but a lot of it does start with you. The genesis is you. So did you have a lot of songs left over from the Motorhead days that you're still revisiting and still diving into the vault and reviewing?
There was a couple of riffs, which got thrown out with Motorhead, which I put on my solo record last year. That's all. But no, the rest of it's all brand new. You like I got a guitar sitting there in my kitchen and a little amp, and I might go and pick up the guitar, three times a day as I'm walking past for 5 minutes. But out of one of them 3 times or one of them days, you might come up with something worthwhile. Like so, I enjoy it anyway. So keeps me out of trouble. But it gets harder over the years, though, to come up with something fresh. It's cool because so much good stuff's already been done. Like so, you gotta try hard, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do know. You've got to keep at it. I'm a writer, and I know it's the same. Well, I'm also a musician, as you know, and but I find with writing in particular, which I'm well into at the moment, you've just got to keep pushing through it some days. It doesn't come easy, but the more you persist, the closer you get to those golden ideas.
Yeah, that's right. You're not going to do it by not having a go, like,
Correct.
It's got to be hands-on.
Hey, I was listening to an interview that you conducted with an English chap before we got on, and you mentioned that you don't drink anymore. So my question around that is, how did you do it?
I just thought that all them years was enough, really. It took me 10 years to actually try and stop completely, but I did it. I just got bored with it in the end, and I didn't have hangovers anyway. I just got fed up with it in the end,
A lot of people struggle with it, It's a tough one, that one, isn't it? Because I know I've had the best nights of my life, I think, whilst I've been drinking, but what it gives, it tends to take away.
Yeah, the first period after you stop drinking, you think you can ever enjoy yourself again, and you're really boring and you're really quiet. And but slowly, you get to enjoy yourself, more and more, and get to more normal things, and kind of before you know it, you're having the same fun as you were when you were drinking. But then you think, shit, I'm not drinking. I just had a great time, But it is difficult. It took me 10 years to to finally master it.
Did the process did it involve like seeking assistance through Alcoholics Anonymous, or I hope you don't mind me asking these questions, by the way. It's just that
no, just my own. I was going. I didn't go to any meetings or anything like that. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
You've got to really want to stop. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Different things. Of some people meetings would be good for them. I guess. Everyone's different. Some people can do it without any support system. Some people need a support system. But it took me like 10 years, like from thinking about it, to actually like down in tools.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
It's a bit of a process.
It's the routine of drinking that shits me. You get into a routine of every sort of 3 or 4 nights, and I don't get hangovers either, but they're just the productivity killers. The next day you're just too tired. You're not hungover, you're just tired, and so you lose your motivation, and I'm trying to get that back, and I think if I have to give up drinking to do it, so be it.
Yeah, we'll try, just try for a month. Go, I don't know what to say really. Just gotta do what you think.
It's an individual thing.
No,
absolutely.
Yeah, because when I stopped, I thought I couldn't get any creativity back. That crazy spark when you're buzzed, pick up an instrument, but it comes back. It definitely comes back slowly, though. The first parts are hardest, the immediate, short time when you've stopped. The earlier months or weeks or years or whatever it is, a bit harder, and it should get easier.
How long has it been now for you?
About 3 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
I don't count to the day or nothing like that. I know it's about 3 years completely, like, without one drop.
Yeah. What about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination? I mean, those guys are assholes anyway, in my opinion, but they were stupid for leaving yourself and Mick off the ballot. But is it even important to you to get in there?
No, not at all. Like, didn't bother me. Me and Len went to visit the place years and years ago in Cleveland, and it must have been in its early days, and I wasn't impressed with the place at all. Like, and some of the artists getting nominated in rock and roll, who wants to be, not naming any names, who wants to be put up alongside some of these people, like, it's just a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a pathetic joke.
Yeah.
It's just, call it something else. Do not call it rock and roll. For Motorhead,
yeah, I've got a Grammy on my mantelpiece. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
And some other things. I don't need the Hall of Fame thing particularly.
Yeah. And universally revered and loved and acknowledged by just about every rock and metal fan that ever existed as well. That's probably.
I don't think the Hall of Fame actually know anything about rock and roll. To be honest.
No, they don't. They're
might as well ask the lollipop lady. The lollipop lady at the school crossing. She probably knows more. Like.
She probably wouldn't, especially our local one. I think she would down at the local public school down here. From the not judging a book by its cover, but she looks like she's led a hard life, and I think she would know a thing or two about rock and roll, which is exactly the way we like it. So, mate, I better make this my last question for you. But are you interested in someone writing your autobiography or helping you write that?
I was. I had a couple of Swedish guys were interested in doing it. They had some interest for the publisher, so they flew over for an initial meeting with me, and they were great. These guys were great, but later on, I decided I didn't want to. It wasn't going to be an autobiography. I would just initially wanted it just to be all the funny stuff that happened with MOTÖRHEAD,
They're great, those books, yeah. Since
I stopped drinking now and all that, I've really not bothered about it. I told them it's not for me at the moment. Some things you just private things anyway. You know, I don't want the whole world to know everything it is to know about me. You know, it's enough of that on social media.
Agreed.
Crap,
Yeah.
you know. Just get, you know, you've got to have your boundaries somewhere. So no, there's not going to be a book. No.
Okay, good to know. Yep, good to know. Well, I say good to know because I'm doing that sort of stuff at the moment, and I was going to send you some of the stuff that I'd done with no hard sell whatsoever. Just say if you wanted to think about it later on in life, well, here's an example of the work that I'm doing, and if you wanted to reach out and have more of a conversation about it, then go for it. But that's all I was going to do because I'm doing that. I've just graduated from university, you see, so.
Well, you could send something to the label guy, and he can send something on to me. I'll have a read.
Oh, you've definitely made my other book, but it's about these interviews because I've conducted 3 interviews with you over the years, and they've all contained great stuff. And I love, 600 interviews or so as I've done at the moment, mate. It seems crazy for me not to want to share that with the world, and it's all good stuff too, by the way, mate. You know,
a book of interviews, is it? That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's my thoughts and recollections on the interviews and how they've enmeshed in my life.
Yeah, you should pursue that. Sounds great.
Fantastic. Well, I'll definitely send it to you then, mate. I'll send it to your label anyway, mate. And it'll get to you. And I'd appreciate some feedback whenever it comes. But mate,
give me some good quality toilet reading.
Absolutely, that'll make the book for sure. But look, but I appreciate the conversation as always, Phil. Thank you very much, mate. And no doubt,
you're welcome, my friend.
We'll have a chat in the future.
Yeah, hopefully we'll come down your way very soon. All right?
Fingers crossed, mate. No worries. Thank you very much.
Okay, take care, my friend.
Thanks,
have a great evening.
You too.
Bye.
Mate. No, catch ya. You've been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online, and my name is Andrew Mackay-Smith. That interview subject was the one and only Phil Campbell, formerly of MOTÖRHEAD now. He's a part of the collective known as Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. Thanks so much for listening.